Pinky Cole built one of the most recognizable plant-based restaurant brands in America. Her company, Slutty Vegan, transformed from a small delivery concept into a cultural phenomenon, attracting celebrities, investors, and long lines of customers. But now, the entrepreneur is facing one of the biggest challenges of her career after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy while carrying nearly $1.4 million in debt. According to court filings, Pinky Cole owes approximately $1.2 million to the U.S. Small Business Administration and another $192,000 in state tax obligations. The filing comes at a pivotal moment in her career as she prepares to appear as a full-time cast member on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. While the timing has shocked many fans, the financial struggles didn't happen overnight. Slutty Vegan's story has always been about rapid growth. Launched in 2018, the company quickly became famous for its creative vegan burgers, bold branding, and energetic customer experience. The restaurant wasn't just selling food, it was selling a lifestyle. Customers lined up for hours, celebrities promoted the brand, and investors saw enormous potential. That explosive success encouraged aggressive expansion. At its peak, Slutty Vegan grew to 14 locations across multiple states. But with fast growth came higher operating costs, larger payrolls, increased rent, and significant overhead expenses. As the business expanded, maintaining profitability became much more difficult. Pinky Cole has previously acknowledged that the company struggled under nearly $10 million in corporate overhead during its expansion phase. Those financial pressures eventually forced major restructuring efforts, including temporarily giving up ownership before buying the business back in 2025 with a new strategy focused on rebuilding the brand. Now, the Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing represents another attempt to stabilize the business rather than shut it down completely. Unlike Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 11 allows businesses to continue operating while reorganizing their debts under court supervision. That means Slutty Vegan's remaining restaurants can continue serving customers while the company works on a financial recovery plan. The court documents also reveal that despite the debt, Pinky Cole still reports substantial assets valued at approximately $3.75 million, including investment properties. This means the situation isn't necessarily about having no assets, but rather balancing significant liabilities against available resources while restructuring the business. The bankruptcy filing also follows several difficult years for the company. Slutty Vegan has faced lawsuits involving unpaid rent at some Atlanta locations and legal disputes with former employees. While these issues don't define the entire business, they added financial and legal pressures during an already challenging period. What's particularly interesting is that this financial crisis arrives just as Pinky Cole enters one of television's biggest reality franchises. Becoming a full-time cast member on The Real Housewives of Atlanta could significantly increase her public profile, opening new opportunities through endorsements, speaking engagements, book sales, and other business ventures. Reality television has often become a platform for entrepreneurs to rebuild their brands after setbacks. Increased visibility can attract new customers and investors, but it also brings intense public scrutiny. Every financial decision, business update, and personal challenge may now become part of the public conversation. Many entrepreneurs are pointing to Pinky Cole's situation as an example of how rapid scaling can create enormous risks. Growing too quickly often requires significant borrowing, larger staffing, expensive leases, and complex operations. Even companies with strong customer demand can face cash flow problems if expenses grow faster than revenue. Despite the bankruptcy headlines, it's important to remember that Chapter 11 is commonly used as a restructuring tool rather than a declaration that a business has failed permanently. Some well-known companies have successfully reorganized through Chapter 11 before returning to profitability. For Slutty Vegan, the next phase will likely focus on operating fewer locations more efficiently instead of chasing rapid national expansion. The company has already reduced its footprint from 14 restaurants to just 5 locations, suggesting management is prioritizing sustainability over growth. Another factor working in Pinky Cole's favor is the strength of her personal brand. Long before joining reality television, she became known as an inspirational entrepreneur, motivational speaker, author, and philanthropist. She has donated to educational causes, supported students at Clark Atlanta University, and built a loyal following that extends beyond her restaurants. That reputation could prove valuable during this difficult chapter. Customers who believe in her story may continue supporting the business, while potential investors may see the restructuring as an opportunity rather than a warning sign. Still, the road ahead won't be easy. Bankruptcy proceedings require court oversight, negotiations with creditors, and detailed financial planning. Every step of the restructuring process will be closely monitored, and success will depend on whether the business can generate enough revenue while controlling expenses. The timing also means viewers of The Real Housewives of Atlanta may witness part of this journey unfold on screen. If the series documents her efforts to rebuild Slutty Vegan while navigating financial challenges, audiences could gain a rare behind-the-scenes look at the realities of entrepreneurship, showing that even highly successful founders face moments of uncertainty. For now, the biggest question isn't whether Pinky Cole experienced financial trouble. That has already been confirmed through court filings. The real question is whether this Chapter 11 restructuring becomes the foundation for a comeback. Slutty Vegan has overcome obstacles before, including ownership changes, restructuring efforts, and operational challenges. Whether this latest chapter becomes another turnaround story or marks a permanent decline will depend on how effectively the company executes its recovery strategy over the coming months. One thing is certain: Pinky Cole's journey is entering a new phase, one that combines reality television, business restructuring, and the pressure of rebuilding one of America's most recognizable Black-owned restaurant brands. The coming months will determine whether this bankruptcy filing becomes the end of an era or the beginning of an entirely new one. Even with bankruptcy making headlines, many business experts say this doesn't automatically mean Slutty Vegan is disappearing. In fact, Chapter 11 is often used by companies that believe they still have a future but need time to reorganize their finances. The process gives a business an opportunity to negotiate with creditors while continuing normal operations. Customers can still visit restaurants, employees can continue working, and management can focus on creating a sustainable financial plan. For Pinky Cole, this is far from the first obstacle she has faced. Before becoming a nationally recognized entrepreneur, she experienced personal and professional setbacks that shaped her approach to business. Those who have followed her career know that resilience has always been a major part of her story. Supporters now wonder whether that same determination can help guide the company through another difficult period. The restaurant industry itself has become increasingly challenging over the last few years. Rising food costs, higher wages, expensive commercial leases, and inflation have created financial pressure for businesses of every size. Even brands with loyal customers have struggled to maintain healthy profit margins. Expanding into multiple cities only increases those risks, requiring larger teams and more resources to keep every location running efficiently. Some analysts believe Slutty Vegan expanded at a pace that became difficult to manage. Opening restaurants across different markets may have boosted the brand's visibility, but it also created significant operating expenses. Every new location added another layer of financial responsibility, from staffing and inventory to utilities and rent. When costs continue rising faster than revenue, even a popular business can find itself under pressure. At the same time, the company's name continues to carry considerable recognition. Slutty Vegan isn't simply known for its menu. It became a cultural brand that attracted celebrities, athletes, musicians, and influencers. Long lines outside its restaurants became common, and social media helped turn ordinary customers into enthusiastic promoters of the business. That level of brand awareness remains valuable, even during financial restructuring. Another important factor is Pinky Cole herself. Her public image extends beyond restaurant ownership. She has built a reputation as a motivational speaker, business mentor, author, and advocate for entrepreneurship. Those additional platforms may provide opportunities to generate income while strengthening public confidence in her long-term vision. Her upcoming role on The Real Housewives of Atlanta could also introduce her story to millions of new viewers. Reality television has often helped entrepreneurs increase brand recognition, especially when audiences connect with authentic personal journeys. If viewers watch her navigate financial challenges while working to rebuild her company, the exposure could translate into renewed interest in Slutty Vegan's restaurants. Of course, appearing on reality television also comes with risks. Public attention can amplify both successes and failures. Every business decision, court update, or financial development could become part of public discussion. That level of visibility creates additional pressure, especially while working through a legal restructuring process. Creditors will also play a major role in determining what happens next. During Chapter 11 proceedings, businesses typically negotiate payment plans and attempt to restructure obligations in a way that allows operations to continue. Success depends on reaching agreements that satisfy creditors while giving the company enough financial flexibility to remain competitive. Customers are another key piece of the puzzle. Loyal supporters often become one of a company's greatest strengths during difficult times. If existing customers continue visiting restaurants and recommending the brand to others, steady sales could help support the recovery process. Consumer confidence frequently influences how quickly businesses regain financial stability. The coming months are likely to be critical for Slutty Vegan. Court proceedings, operational decisions, and financial restructuring will shape the company's future. Whether the business emerges stronger or continues facing challenges will depend on disciplined management, careful budgeting, and consistent customer support. For now, Pinky Cole's story remains unfinished. The headlines may focus on debt and bankruptcy, but the next chapter will be defined by how effectively she responds to one of the toughest tests of her entrepreneurial career. If she succeeds, this period may eventually be remembered not as the end of the brand's success, but as the turning point that forced a stronger and more sustainable business model. As the bankruptcy case moves forward, one question continues to dominate conversations. Can Pinky Cole transform this setback into another success story? The answer will depend on more than public support. It will require disciplined financial decisions, operational improvements, and a realistic strategy for future growth. One of the biggest lessons from Slutty Vegan's journey is that popularity does not always guarantee financial stability. A restaurant can have packed dining rooms, strong social media engagement, and national recognition while still facing cash flow problems behind the scenes. Business success depends on balancing revenue with expenses, and that balance becomes increasingly difficult when a company expands quickly. Industry experts often explain that growth brings hidden costs. Every additional restaurant requires new equipment, inventory, employee training, maintenance, insurance, and marketing. Even if individual locations perform well, the combined expenses can become overwhelming if they aren't carefully managed. Many promising restaurant brands have faced similar challenges after expanding faster than their financial foundation could support. For Pinky Cole, the current situation may encourage a different approach. Instead of focusing on opening more locations, the priority could shift towards strengthening the restaurants that remain. Improving efficiency, reducing unnecessary spending, and increasing profitability at existing stores may prove more valuable than rapid expansion. Another advantage working in her favor is customer loyalty. Slutty Vegan built a community rather than simply a customer base. Many supporters admire the company's mission of making plant-based food exciting and accessible. Others appreciate Pinky Cole's personal journey as a Black woman who created a nationally recognized business from the ground up. That emotional connection with consumers can be difficult for competitors to replicate. Brand partnerships may also become an important part of the recovery process. Companies with strong public recognition often generate revenue through collaborations, merchandise, licensing agreements, and promotional campaigns. If managed carefully, these opportunities could create additional income streams beyond restaurant sales. Investors will likely be paying close attention as well. While bankruptcy can make some investors cautious, others specialize in supporting businesses during restructuring. They often look for companies with recognizable brands, loyal customers, and leadership willing to make difficult changes. Whether Slutty Vegan attracts new financial backing will depend on confidence in its long-term business plan. Meanwhile, Pinky Cole's television debut adds another layer to the story. Viewers are expected to see both the personal and professional sides of her life, including the pressures that come with leading a high-profile company. Reality television often reveals challenges that audiences never see through headlines alone, giving entrepreneurs an opportunity to explain their decisions in their own words. Public opinion could shift as more details emerge. Initial headlines frequently focus on debt totals because they attract attention, but bankruptcy cases involve far more than a single number. Courts examine assets, liabilities, repayment plans, and future projections before determining how the restructuring should proceed. That process can take months rather than days. Business owners across different industries may also find valuable lessons in this situation. Scaling a company requires careful planning, especially during periods of economic uncertainty. Strong demand for a product is important, but maintaining healthy cash flow, controlling expenses, and preparing for unexpected challenges are equally essential for long-term survival. Despite the financial hurdles, Pinky Cole continues to speak about resilience and learning from adversity. Throughout her career, she has often described setbacks as opportunities to gain experience rather than reasons to give up. Whether that mindset translates into another successful turnaround remains to be seen, but it reflects the approach that helped build her reputation in the first place. The restaurant industry has always rewarded businesses that adapt quickly. Consumer preferences change, operating costs fluctuate, and economic conditions can shift without warning. Companies that survive over the long term are usually those willing to adjust their strategies instead of relying on past success. For Slutty Vegan, adaptation may involve simplifying operations, strengthening core markets, and focusing on consistent profitability instead of rapid expansion. Those decisions may not generate the same excitement as opening new restaurants, but they could provide a stronger financial foundation for the future. As this chapter unfolds, many supporters will be watching not only the court proceedings, but also the company's everyday performance. Continued customer traffic, positive reviews, and stable operations could become encouraging signs that the restructuring is working. On the other hand, additional financial complications could create new obstacles that management must address. No matter how the case develops, Pinky Cole's experience serves as a reminder that entrepreneurship is rarely a straight path. Success often includes unexpected challenges, difficult decisions, and moments that test a leader's determination. Some businesses never recover from those moments, while others emerge stronger because they learn from them. For now, the future of Slutty Vegan remains uncertain, but uncertainty does not always mean failure. The next several months will reveal whether careful restructuring, loyal customers, and strategic leadership can help the company regain financial stability. Until then, Pinky Cole's journey continues to be one of the most closely watched business stories in the restaurant industry, with many hoping that the brand's next chapter will be defined by recovery rather than decline. While the legal process continues, another important issue is how Pinky Cole manages public perception. In today's business world, a company's reputation can influence its future almost as much as its financial performance. Customers want transparency, investors want confidence, and employees want reassurance that the business still has a clear direction. Every public statement made during this period could shape how people view both Pinky Cole and the Slutty Vegan brand. Many entrepreneurs have faced moments when they needed to rebuild trust after financial difficulties. Some responded by becoming more transparent about their challenges, while others focused on improving operations behind the scenes before sharing updates with the public. Finding the right balance between honesty and optimism will likely be one of Pinky Cole's biggest responsibilities as the restructuring process unfolds. Another question surrounds the future size of the company. Rather than returning to an aggressive expansion strategy, management may decide that a smaller, stronger business is the better path forward. Concentrating on a limited number of successful restaurants could make it easier to maintain quality, reduce expenses, and improve customer satisfaction. A leaner operation often provides greater flexibility when economic conditions become unpredictable. Technology could also play a larger role in the company's next phase. Mobile ordering, delivery partnerships, customer loyalty programs, and digital marketing have become essential tools for modern restaurants. Strengthening these areas may help Slutty Vegan reach customers without the high costs associated with opening additional physical locations. Digital engagement has already been one of the brand's strengths, and expanding those efforts could support future growth. Franchising is another possibility that some business analysts have discussed. Instead of funding every new restaurant directly, companies sometimes allow independent operators to open locations under their brand. This approach can reduce financial risk while expanding market presence. However, franchising also requires strict quality control to ensure every location delivers the same customer experience. Whether Slutty Vegan explores that option remains uncertain, but it could become part of future conversations once the company's financial position improves. Employee morale will also be an important factor. Restaurant workers often experience uncertainty whenever bankruptcy becomes public knowledge. Questions about job security, scheduling, and long-term stability naturally arise. Strong communication from leadership can help reduce anxiety and encourage employees to remain focused on serving customers during a challenging period. Suppliers will be watching developments closely as well. Restaurants depend on reliable relationships with food distributors and service providers. Maintaining those partnerships is essential because consistent inventory and timely deliveries directly affect daily operations. Rebuilding confidence with vendors may become another priority as the restructuring progresses. Competition within the plant-based food industry has also changed significantly since Slutty Vegan first gained national attention. More restaurants now offer vegan menu options, and grocery stores carry a wider variety of plant-based products than ever before. Standing out in a more competitive marketplace requires constant innovation, creative marketing, and a memorable customer experience. Even with increased competition, Slutty Vegan still holds a unique position. The brand developed a distinctive personality that combined bold marketing with comfort food designed to appeal to both vegans and non-vegans. That identity helped attract customers who may never have considered trying plant-based meals before. Preserving that originality will be important as the company moves through its recovery efforts. Financial restructuring also provides an opportunity to evaluate which parts of the business perform best. Management can study sales data, customer preferences, and operating costs to identify where improvements are needed. Decisions based on detailed financial analysis may help avoid mistakes that often occur during periods of rapid expansion. Outside of the restaurant business, Pinky Cole's personal influence continues to grow. She remains active in entrepreneurship discussions, community initiatives, and public speaking. Those activities strengthen her profile beyond food service and may create additional opportunities that indirectly benefit the Slutty Vegan brand. A well-known founder often becomes one of a company's greatest assets, particularly during periods of rebuilding. At the same time, expectations will remain high. Supporters who admired the company's remarkable rise will want to see meaningful progress, while critics will closely examine every development. That level of attention can create pressure, but it also keeps the brand in public conversations, something many struggling businesses fail to achieve. Ultimately, the outcome of this situation will depend on execution rather than headlines. Court filings provide a snapshot of the company's current financial position, but they do not determine its future. The decisions made over the coming months, whether involving budgeting, operations, staffing, marketing, or customer engagement, will have a much greater impact on where the business stands in the years ahead. For Pinky Cole, this chapter represents another opportunity to demonstrate leadership under difficult circumstances. Building a successful company is one achievement. Guiding that company through adversity is another challenge entirely. If the restructuring plan succeeds, Slutty Vegan could emerge with a stronger financial foundation and a clearer strategy for sustainable growth. Until the bankruptcy proceedings conclude, many questions will remain unanswered. What is already clear, however, is that the story is still unfolding. Rather than marking the final chapter for one of the country's most recognizable vegan restaurant brands, this period may become the moment that reshapes its future and defines the next stage of Pinky Cole's entrepreneurial journey. Looking beyond the courtroom, the future of Slutty Vegan will ultimately be determined by everyday business performance rather than legal paperwork alone. Bankruptcy proceedings can create a framework for financial recovery, but lasting success depends on whether the company can consistently generate healthy revenue, manage expenses wisely, and maintain customer confidence over time. One encouraging sign for the business is that consumer interest in plant-based dining continues to exist, even though the market has become more competitive. Many people choose vegan meals for health, environmental, or ethical reasons, while others simply enjoy trying restaurants with unique flavors and creative menus. If Slutty Vegan continues delivering the experience that originally made it famous, it still has an opportunity to attract both longtime supporters and first-time customers. Marketing will likely play a major role in the company's next chapter. During its early years, the brand became known for creating excitement through social media, celebrity visits, and word-of-mouth recommendations. Rebuilding that momentum could help increase restaurant traffic, without relying entirely on expensive advertising campaigns. Authentic customer experiences often generate the strongest promotion, especially when people share their visits online. Financial discipline, however, may become the company's greatest priority moving forward. Businesses that recover from restructuring frequently adopt stricter budgeting practices, monitor spending more closely, and focus on long-term sustainability instead of rapid expansion. Those adjustments may not generate dramatic headlines, but they often determine whether a company remains successful years after leaving bankruptcy. Leadership decisions will also remain under close observation. Every choice involving staffing, pricing, menu development, or future investments will reflect the company's broader strategy. Customers and industry observers alike will be looking for signs that lessons from previous challenges have been incorporated into a more stable business model. Pinky Cole's visibility outside the restaurant industry could continue creating opportunities that strengthen her overall brand. Media appearances, speaking engagements, and partnerships with other organizations allow entrepreneurs to remain influential even when their primary businesses face temporary setbacks. A strong personal reputation can open doors that help support future business ventures. Another factor that cannot be overlooked is customer trust. People who believe in the company's mission often become repeat visitors during difficult periods. Their continued support provides more than revenue. It sends a message that the brand still has value in the marketplace. Businesses that maintain loyal communities usually have a stronger chance of navigating financial challenges than those relying only on occasional customers. Observers are also interested in whether the bankruptcy process will encourage broader conversations about entrepreneurship. Stories of successful businesses often highlight rapid growth and major achievements, but they rarely focus on the financial pressures that come with expansion. Pinky Cole's experience may encourage aspiring entrepreneurs to pay closer attention to budgeting, cash flow, and sustainable growth rather than pursuing size alone. For entrepreneurs watching from the sidelines, this situation offers several practical lessons. Building a recognizable brand is only one part of running a successful company. Long-term stability requires careful planning, realistic forecasting, and the flexibility to adjust when market conditions change. Even businesses with enthusiastic customers must prepare for unexpected financial obstacles. As public interest continues, media coverage will likely follow every significant development in the bankruptcy case. Court decisions, company announcements, and business performance may all influence how the story evolves. However, headlines often capture only individual moments, while the true outcome will be measured over months and even years. If Slutty Vegan successfully completes its restructuring, the company could emerge with fewer financial obligations and a stronger operational strategy. That would allow management to focus less on surviving immediate challenges and more on building a profitable future. Recovery will require patience, but many companies have demonstrated that restructuring can become the starting point for renewed success. On the other hand, the process will not be without obstacles. Economic conditions remain uncertain, consumer spending habits continue to change, and competition within the restaurant industry remains intense. Every business must adapt to those realities, regardless of its size or reputation. For Pinky Cole personally, this period may become one of the defining moments of her career. Entrepreneurs are often remembered not only for how they build successful companies, but also for how they respond when those companies encounter serious difficulties. Her ability to lead through uncertainty will likely shape public perception for years to come. As fans prepare to watch her journey unfold on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, many will be interested in seeing how she balances personal responsibilities, television exposure, and the demanding task of guiding a business through financial restructuring. That combination of business challenges and public visibility makes her story unlike many others in the restaurant industry. Whether Slutty Vegan experiences a full financial comeback or faces additional hurdles, one reality is already clear. The company has become part of a much larger conversation about entrepreneurship, ambition, and resilience. The next chapter has yet to be written, and the decisions made from this point forward will determine how both the business and its founder are remembered in the years ahead.